Hello again and welcome to a sort of part 2. If you haven't seen my first video, then I will put a link in the corner just there. In that video, I took a look at set number 76386, Hogwarts Polyjuice Potion Mistake, and now I'm going to be looking at set 76387, Hogwarts Fluffy Encounter. I found this set early at a local toy shop, and I was very happy to be able to get it, so I will build it and then we'll take a look. And that's everything you get in the final set. I'll just tilt up so you can see the full extent of the tower on the left. There we go, all the way to the top and all the way back down again. So we get a grand total of 4 minifigures, as well as a number of smaller builds which can be combined to make the larger structure in the background, and a couple of side builds. I think we'll take a look at the figures first and then move on through the side builds onto the main build. So as I did with that first set, we'll start off by taking a look at the golden minifigure, and I thought it made sense to put the standard Hermione next to her. You can see again, as with the golden Harry in that first set, she has got the 20 years printing around the back. Other than that, it's a fairly standard Hermione figure, just coloured into gold. She's got the style of jumper that was present in the Hogwarts Moments set, and then there are just a few gold stars dotted around. She's again got the gold minifigure base plate, as well as the gold wand. And then on the right, we have got Hermione Granger. I'm not sure if she's actually using any new pieces. It's definitely the same head we've been getting for a while, same standard hair. She's got the torso, which has got the closed robes on her. Harry and Hermione both have that, and Ron has one that's slightly different, and then standard black legs. I will just pop off her hairpiece, so you can see that standard scared expression that we've been getting for a while now. Shame they didn't take the opportunity to switch that up. And here are the other two minifigures, Harry and Ron. As I mentioned, Harry uses the same torso element as Hermione, but Ron's got one which is slightly different with his robes unbuttoned so you can see his jumper. I think that's a nice little touch, similar to how they did the Series 1 collectible minifigures, where they had the various different robes, with Ron's being the most messy, which is fairly normal. Get a slightly better look at the hood on the back there, which is very similar to the Slytherin one, which was found in the Polyjuice Potion set. Again, I'll pop their hair off so you can see the alternate faces, which again I believe are the same ones we've been getting for a while now. Again, it's a shame, but to be honest, these faces are accurate for the scene. It's the correct reaction on seeing Fluffy for the first time. Speaking of which, here he is, the new version of Fluffy the Three-Headed Dog, or Cerberus as he's probably originally known. So this is actually a really nice little build. I had a couple of reactions on first seeing the pictures for this set. One was really good and one was really bad. The first good reaction was because of these new moulded heads. Now, it's exactly the same mould for each one. I'll just pop them off. They just attach with a pin connection at the back. They're hollow inside, so you can put them over something, although there's no actual connection inside there. And they're very nicely moulded, but they are printed differently. So you can see on the side, if I can get that back on, this side we've got very angry and very awake Fluffy. In the middle we've got one who looks like he's winking, but is really angry and awake on that side, and sleepy on that side, and then we've got a full sleepy Fluffy on the other side. When the pictures came out, it did look as if we were going to get a full set of replacement heads, one awake and one set asleep, which we haven't got, and you know, I can see why. That's probably quite a lot to already have 3 of these in one set, let alone 6. So I think it's a decent compromise. You know, have him from this angle, he looks like he's awake. Have him from this angle, he looks like he's asleep. Or, you know, head on and it looks like he's gradually waking up. You know, maybe put these heads down and that one up or something like that. And the negative reaction that I had was to these grey pieces here. Now, if you don't know, these are the smaller ball joint pieces, which were originally created, I think, for the Mixels theme, which has been discontinued for a while now, but they've been used in lots of other sets. And for reasons which are a little bit dubious, they are colour locked. So they only come in light grey or sometimes in dark grey. Which is a shame for a build that is predominantly reddish brown and dark brown with a few bits of black. Now, to be honest, it's not that bad in person. It's much better in person than it looked in the pictures. The really bad angles are straight on from either side. This middle one is a little bit more hidden, but once you've got it around the front, you really can't see. One thing I think they could have done was include bracket pieces that went over here with a plate or tile on the side. That might have just hidden it a little bit better, and that's probably something that I will do. Other than that, though, the build is really nice. They have made Fluffy one time previously, right back when the Philosopher's Stone first came out, and as you can see, that was a very different way of doing things. The only movable parts were the tops of the heads, so the mouths open and closed, which they don't do on this one, but the posability that you get on here, you know, all four legs move at the hips, and also you've got a second joint along here, and also the tail at the back can be moved up and down, and also actually side to side a little bit, so there's quite a bit of posability there. I think that is a much better thing to have rather than a, well, I don't even know if you could call it more accurate nowadays. For the time it was very good, but I think this is a very modern and I think a very impressive way of doing things. Maybe modified a little bit in the future, but as he comes, he's very good. But we're going to need a way to get him to fall asleep, to go from that to that, and for that reason they do include a harp. So I was interested to see how they were going to do this. Obviously, a harp is quite an elegant shape, and to be at minifigure scale, it's got to be quite small, and I'm actually really impressed with the solution. So it's a fairly simple build. You can probably see how it's gone together, and then this piece is just hinged on there so it can move away, but it's good enough. But the way they've done the strings is we've got a trans clear angled flag piece, and it's just held in place using those minifigure kind of accessory holders. They've just got a bar underneath and then a stud just here, and you normally held in a minifigure hand so they can hold some sort of blast or action thing, maybe for Iron Man, but you know, pop two of them together and then the flag can clip on there. Put that up and you get your nice little harp. It's a sticker, which is annoying, but I think I've done a decent enough job putting it on. It's only a sticker on one side, so you don't have to match anything up. That's the other thing, it can just pop off there. But I think because it's clear, shows through from both sides, and it's a nice little build and definitely integral to the scene. One thing they could have included was the wooden flute, which Hagrid gives to Harry. And the reason they probably didn't do that is because although the flute, interestingly, did appear in the original Forbidden Corridor set, that would have been designed before the first film had actually come out, and the flute makes an appearance in the book where Harry uses it to charm Fluffy, but then doesn't appear in the same place in the film. Although, interestingly, Hagrid, who gives him the flute, is seen with the flute playing Hedwig's theme. A little bit of a fourth wall break there, which is interesting. But anyway, tiny detail, the harp is good. And now we come to what I think of as the main event. This is the actual structure. So this is representing the Forbidden Corridor, along with another couple of bits of Hogwarts here. Also doesn't fit in shot, as I shown at the beginning. But luckily, this has been designed in modules, as has the entire anniversary range of Hogwarts builds. So for starters, I can disconnect these, just connected with Technic pins, which are at the same height, I think, as the earlier sets. I'll have to double check that. If it is, I'll pop that on screen, or I'll correct myself. But that just allows these two sections to be disconnected. So we'll look at this one first. So this is where Fluffy lives, and similarly to the Polyjuice Potion set, this brick at the front, which does not come as a regular brick in a 14 length, I corrected myself there, just pops off to give us a bit better access, and we can pop Fluffy inside. Now, it's a little bit of a squeeze there. He does look better when he is sitting down, which is thankfully quite easy to do. There we go, just poke his tail out of the doorway there. I have to say, I think he looks quite good there. It does mean that there's not a huge amount of space to have your minifigures come in and also to open the trapdoor that's here, but, you know, it's Lego at the end of the day, and they're constrained by this 8x16 module style that they've created. Speaking of the trapdoor, let's just get them out of the way again. It's just a standard modern Lego trapdoor piece, as you can see just there. It's the slightly newer variety with the standard pins instead of the slightly older version, which protruded a bit more. The base is just formed of slightly longer plates so that you can actually get through the floor. Can't get through at the moment. It's just held in place by one of these bar pieces, which stops it from falling through. And then in the corner, we've just got a chicken leg, which I don't remember being described in the books, but Gotta have something to eat, I suppose. Then we've got what might be supposed to be floating candles up at the top, although they're definitely more sort of in dishes. They're quite similar to the ones in the Great Hall, I suppose. It's just a nice little detail, and actually they are part of another module, this roof, which is really nicely built actually, and as you can see, it is sand green. Now, that is a throwback to the early LEGO Harry Potter sets, where for whatever reason, possibly the concept art for the early films, which they were basing their sets off, the roofs looked green. The more recent sets have used dark bluish grey, which I've continued for my Hogwarts mock. So I'm kind of torn about these roofs. On one hand, I really do like the fact that it's a throwback to those older pieces, and for a 20th anniversary wave, I think that's great. But on the other hand, for someone who wants to combine these into, you know, a display of those original sets, or for me, who wants to add them into my mock Hogwarts castle, it becomes a little bit awkward because I don't really want to go suddenly from sand green to dark bluish grey and back again. It's not as big a problem with these plates here because I'm sure I can reuse them somewhere else or in a completely different build. But when we get to the tower, you'll see some of the large cone pieces, which I really wish had come in dark bluish grey because they're a little pricey and it's always good to have some more of them. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So that is the roof, which is nice and can be taken off modularly. We'll just spin this around. Just a few details on the outside. It's odd, but I kind of like how they've left these gaps. It makes what would otherwise be quite a plain wall a little bit more interesting. A couple of stickers with some distressed brickwork to break it up as well. And then we've got a Nexo Knights pentagonal tile shield piece. I'm sure there's a shorter name for that. Just with a sticker with the 4 house crests, so the Hogwarts crest in total on there, which is, it's nice. I wish it was printed. It reminds me of a slightly older tile from an older Hogwarts, which was printed, but I do like the shape, so I think I will forgive it. And now on to the tower. As you might have guessed from the copious amounts of dark tan pieces, this is also modular, so I can split off the first floor and I can also split off the roof. I've got to do it carefully so I don't ping anything off. There we go. So you actually get 3 little modules there. This first floor does include the same Technic bricks, so you could connect them sort of side by side like that. Won't do that just now. Where shall we start? Let's work our way down to the to the disappointment. So the very top, this is the cone, or rather these are the cone pieces I was talking about. You've got this large one here and then the slightly smaller one. They have come in dark bluish grey in quite a few of the newer Harry Potter sets, and I think they look really good. You don't get many large cone shaped pieces and it's quite difficult to make them in LEGO. Yeah, these sand green ones probably aren't going to get a lot of use. They remind me actually of the old roof turret pieces, which I have quite a few of from those old Harry Potter sets. And again, I haven't been able to use them, which is a crying shame because they're a beautiful design and it just feels such a waste. Maybe I'll try and sell them on to someone who wants them or keep them for posterity. But anyway, looking at this, it, I think, is meant to be, I'm going to go with divination. And that's for a couple of reasons, partly this sort of container here and this crystal, but also because of a sticker. What sticker? A sticker that I deliberately haven't applied. Here is the sticker sheet. You can see the spent stickers, and this is the sticker that I haven't applied. Now, looking at it again, I'm just noticing that that's a Lego brick in the centre there, which is quite fun. I'm really not sure. I'm going to stick with divination, although it could possibly be astronomy. But that would be very strange because not only have we had an astronomy tower, obviously as its own set, but also there is a sort of astronomy tower part to the Chamber of Secrets set. Going to stick with divination. If not, I'm going to use this for divination anyway. When I finally get to the divination tower, which will be the other Hogwarts display, unfortunately, I am going to use this sticker, so I decided not to apply it. It does go on the inside of that cone piece there, so it probably would have been quite difficult to apply, though I get why they didn't print it. And it's clear backed, which means I can pop it on any piece that I want to that's big enough. I did think it had a sand green backing originally, in which case I probably wouldn't have kept it. But anyway, that's the little room there, little detail with the window there. I don't think this piece has come in sand green before, but anyway, yeah, quite simple little build there. Right, moving down. This is possibly, in some ways, even simpler. It's a little it's a little landing type thing with a couple of torches, which kind of look like they're upside down, but that is how they are in the instructions. It uses these larger door frame arch pieces, which I used in my potions classroom, but this time they've come in just normal tan, which I think could be quite useful. A lot of these pieces are going to be super useful actually for my own Hogwarts. And then we've got a little balcony out the front with one of these nice gold lattice design pieces, which are nice. I think they gave them the elves line to begin with. It's just nicely detailed, but to be honest, it's not that useful. And one of the reasons for that is the use of these lattice pieces here. Now, I don't know why they've decided to use these. It's a slightly strange choice. You would think that they would want to use standard base plates, but for whatever reason they have gone for these, maybe for cost, although as another reviewer did point out, the one advantage is you can put characters with short legs on at an angle, which you can't do with a standard plate. With a regular minifigure or one with regular legs, you can bend one of the legs backwards or forwards and have them turn, but you can't do with that. But I can't believe that that's the only reason why they would do that. But nevertheless, it is something you can do. Right down to the final floor of this section. Let's look at the outside first, because that makes me less annoyed. So it's quite a nice design actually. It uses one of these rock pieces. I can't remember what the acronym for this one is, but you do get quite a few in this wave. Obviously some slopes and bricks and things here, and then it integrates nicely into the tan and medium nougat pieces, and then supports the floor above. Now, painfully going to the inside, obviously another one of these lattice pieces, and then inside. Okay, so this is, well, I'm going to charitably call it the Devil's Snare, but I mean, it's black. Like, it's meant to be a plant. Why is it black? Whatever. The pieces themselves are quite nice, and I think they would have looked amazing in green. They've come in pearl gold before, I know for sure, and I don't know if they've come in green, but if they haven't, maybe they should have done that. Also, why is there a bone back there? Who's died down here? Unless it's a bone for Fluffy. In which case, nice touch, but it's not in his room, so he's meant to be guarding the trapdoor, so he shouldn't have dropped it down there. Whatever. I think you're supposed to be able to get minifigures to fall into this, but you know what? It's so rubbish, I can't even be bothered to try. So points off for this bit. Yeah, not much else to say about this. Well, nothing that's particularly nice anyway. So now we've taken a look at all the buildings or all the structure, I think it'd be good to look at the modularity aspects of this set. So I've already shown you can pop off the roof here, and you can take this tower apart like that. But now it comes to how we put things back together, and this is a positive of this range of sets, but also a kind of negative of this set in particular, in that it's quite tricky to actually put things together in a different way that makes any sense. So, for instance, let's start off. We've got the trapdoor in that section, so it makes sense to put the Devil's Snare underneath it. So there we go. And then this piece will logically have to go there. So it's looking good so far. And then that means we need to put these last two pieces on, and we pop this one on. That's fine. And then we run into a problem. Yeah, that can't go on there, can it? And if you leave it off, you're left with a gap. Where this starts to really shine, though, is when you introduce other sets into the mix. So I've got the bathroom set here, and I'll see if I can remember the combination that I used the other day. In fact, I can indeed. So take that off, pop the bathroom underneath it using the Technic pins to connect them. That goes on top, links those two bits together, and then you can pop that next to there, and then that on top. And you've got a sort of semi-decent little block of Hogwarts. Obviously, some things still don't make sense, like the gap just here through to the Devil's Snare, and also the gap here through to Fluffy's room. But, you know, there aren't any doors included in this set, so what are you going to do? It looks decent from the outside as well. Obviously, the rocks kind of come out of nowhere. What I'm really looking forward to, though, is combining this with the Chamber of Secrets set. Hopefully, once I get that, things will start to make a little bit more sense. Then, of course, there'll be the flying lesson set, so I think we're going to be 4 sets all in combination, which should hopefully be quite interesting. I'm sure there are some people who've already got those sets and have shown the combinations, so by all means go and seek those out if you want to. Yes, so modularity is a thumbs up. but the actual choice of some of the modules is a little bit of a middling. Yeah, I'm not going to be keeping these for much longer, so I'm not too worried. But I think for some people who want to collect the whole wave, this will be really good. And I hope that they don't get too frustrated by how things will or won't get together. Okay, so that is it for this review, except to have a look at the sort of spare and extra bits that we get. Here are the spare pieces. Fairly standard selection for a set this size. This is the piece I was talking about earlier that you use to put in a minifigure hand and hold a power blast or something. Obviously you get the spare wands, including a golden one, and the cards that I got in this, you get 2, and I got a Dumbledore, which is very nice, and then another Helga Hufflepuff. So we've run into the problem already where I've already got a double, and yeah, there aren't that many in each set. So don't know if I'm going to be able to get a full set just by buying each individual set, just to be confusing. But you know what, it's a nice little gimmick, and hopefully these will be able to be snapped up on the aftermarket. So there you go, that was set 76387, Hogwarts Fluffy Encounter. It's a great little set. It's not the smallest of the wave, it's sort of the mid-range one, and I think it's decently priced for what you get. As I said, the interior of this section is a little bit empty, but that is necessary in order to put Fluffy in there. Fluffy himself is a good build. You get the appropriate minifigures, although it is the trio again, but for this situation, whether you're going to the Forbidden Corridor or down into the, the Devil's Snare, it's quite appropriate, and I have to say I am really a big fan of this little harp build. So, that was the second June 2021 set that I've got my hands on. It's going to be the last one that I'm going to look at before the actual June 1st release date. I do have the Chamber of Secrets set on order from LEGO, so hopefully that will arrive within a couple of days of the beginning of June, and I'll be able to put that together and get you a review as soon as possible. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this early look at one of the new 2021 sets. If you did, then please like, share, subscribe, comment, all the good things. That'll help me out there. I'm really enjoying this new wave of sets, and I'm looking forward to being able to show you them all together. That's with this set, the bathroom, which I've just shown, and also the Chamber of Secrets, and hopefully, once I can get my hands on it, the flying lesson as well. So I will see you very soon, hopefully for another Hogwarts update. Have a good time, and we'll see you then. Bye.